founded the company in 2009. You've bootstrapped it. Tell me about your journey, Wayne, from, getting out of school, you were a cat adjuster for some time. Like, did you have any prior experience to this? How did this happen for you?
Yeah, yeah. So, the super quick version of the story is this. When I was in school, I was in business. I was pursuing business with a
Mhm.
specialization in marketing. And then one year for Christmas, my parents gave me some CDs from this gentleman of the name Zig Ziglar.
Ha, love
Zig,
him.
absolutely. Zig Ziglar sold me on the profession of selling. So I knew from
Sales,
that
yeah.
point forward, yep, I wanted to go in sales.
Yeah.
Graduated, got a job in sales, spent 3 years in sales. The first year and a half, Carol, I was absolutely horrific, but
Yeah,
I was
I know.
stubborn. So I
Mhm,
kept at it, kept
mhm.
learning, kept trying, kept knocking on doors, kept having doors slammed
Yep.
in my face, but kept at it. By the end of year three, I'd gotten really good. And over that last year and a half, what I noticed, Carol, was that my income was over here and the amount of revenue that I was bringing in for the company kept growing. In other words, there's this bigger and bigger
Mhm.
gap between
That's right.
those
Yep.
two.
Yep, yep, yep.
And so it's a very dangerous thought crossed my mind, which was, what if I did something for myself? What could
Mhm.
I make if I went and did something for myself?
Yeah.
At that time, other than sales, the only other skill that I had that was marketable was cutting grass. So, much to the dismay of my parents, I left a really great corporate sales
You
job
became a
and
landscaper.
became a lawn and landscaper.
Yeah, right.
Um, and here's what happened though: over the next 3 year period, I took that company from zero to a very successful, very large company, and I sold it. And I sold it almost on a whim. Like I'd grown it to the point where I knew the next step for us as a company was to go into other territories.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly excited about,
Mhm.
the next territory for us was 80 miles away. I wasn't overly excited about that.
Mhm.
So I listed it with a business broker, and lo and behold, within 2 weeks, I had a couple of offers on the business and I sold it. But where Ugly Mug comes into the picture is this, that during that rapid growth of that lawn and landscape company, I started having clients of the lawn and landscape company. I started having friends come to me and saying, "What are you doing to grow? How are you growing your company so quickly?" And the short answer is
Uh,
marketing. I was doing marketing. And so it was out of those questions that I began consulting around marketing. When I put the company for sale, I literally had no clue what I was going to do next, and that's where the insurance cat adjusting came in.
mhm.
I sold the business, and a friend of mine sent me something saying that State Farm was hiring, and that was right after Hurricane Katrina hit. And
Mhm.
I applied, and I was hired out of, I think they said 25,000 people. I was one of 200 people hired for that
Wow.
position. I did that for a couple of years as I was doing
Mhm.
consulting on the side, and then decided to get into this full time. So that's 14 years ago. In
That's fantastic. So, what's the competitive nature of your business, Wayne?
terms of like the marketplaces that we would compete in.
Well, I mean, are there other companies doing what you're doing? Like, what do the competitors look like in your business? I'm
Yeah,
sure there are
there's a
other
lot of
companies doing
people.
what you're doing, or trying to do what you're doing, or say they're doing
Yeah,
what you're
absolutely.
doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's everyone from well-established agencies who've been around a long time, who quote unquote do what we do, to a potential client's nephew who's in college, who has a roommate who does computer-related things, who's a competitor of ours now.
Hmm.
The things that I would say that make us different, make us stand out from a lot of our competitors is this:
Hmm.
that we don't force people into long-term contracts. We tell people, give us 2 months. That's all it takes. Give us 2 months, and within 2 months, you will know if we're a good fit. We will know if you're a good fit within 2 months. We don't want to lock you into working with us just because you sign a piece of paper. If
Hmm.
we're not able to produce results, and in the marketing world, the
Vague.
results are often, yeah, they're tied to what we would call vanity metrics.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the impressions, look at the reach, look at the this, look at the that.
Ugh.
And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, those things matter,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, why people come to us, the majority of our clients come to us,
Hmm.
is because they want more money in the bank account,
Right. They want their phone to
right?
ring.
They want the phone to ring.
That's
And
exactly how I look at it. Yeah, I want, what drives me is the opportunity to make a difference. However, I can't do that if my phone's not ringing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Spot on. And that's for us where we stay focused. So, right. So
Mhm.
they may come to us because they want a website, but
Mhm.
they're wanting the website because they need more customers, they need more inquiries, or they need more sales through that channel. And so the quicker we can deliver those results, we know that we will win a client for life if we're able to deliver those results for them.
So are you doing all, for their website? I have to assume that you're doing all the SEO and all the things that will generate, people to find them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we've gone actually through phases of that, Carol. So way back we did SEO,
Mhm.
and we had a lot of clients who we had doing SEO work for.
Mhm.
And one of the things that became so frustrating for me is that you have these small businesses that we're working with, and they're spending, let's just say, $500 a month on SEO services,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden Google makes a big update, and so they go from page one.
Yeah,
Now they're on
to page
page
million.
well, they jump,
Oh,
let's say, to page 3.
right.
Well, for a small business owner, if
That's a
you're on
big
page
deal.
3, you're not gonna be found. Like,
That's
you're
exactly right.
non-existent for the
Yep.
most part.
Mhm.
And so it became, for me, this huge thing of, like, I feel terrible that we've spent this entrepreneur has now spent 6 months, let's just
Mhm.
call it $3,000. Google decides to make an update, and they go from page 1 to now page 3.
Yeah, it's a
And
problem.
so yeah, so we stopped actually doing SEO for a while
Mhm.
because we wanted things that were more controllable, right? Things that we and the client could have more control over. We're back doing SEO work now, but we approach it differently than most. Again, solely results based, results oriented. And again, we want people to question us, to challenge us. We want to be held to a very high standard around the results we're
Mhm.
producing.
What's the expectation you set for your customers, your clients, as to how long it's gonna take for them to actually see that phone start ringing?
Yeah, it's going to vary based on what they're coming to us for and
Right.
where they're starting, right?
Right.
So for somebody who's just a startup and they have nothing, maybe they're launching the website for the first time,
Mhm.
that ramp is going to be a little bit longer. But at the end of the day, regardless of where they are, we tell them 2 months. Like, in 2 months, we want to have the conversation. Are you starting to see results?
Yeah,
Because
well, yeah.
the quicker we can produce a positive ROI
Mhm.
on the money they're spending with us, the longer they're going to stay with us. In most of our work, that's ongoing work. In other words, social media,
Mhm.
marketing campaigns,
Mhm.
SEO, our clients stay with us for years.
Well,
I
if
mean,
you're
it's
producing, why
years.
wouldn't they?
Yeah. So that's where we stay focused. And it's not easy. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very difficult. It's far easier to go set up a campaign and then talk about the reach, talk about the impressions, talk about the number of people who like the post, or you know what I mean? It's very easy to talk about all those vanity metrics. It's very difficult to constantly look for new ways, look for new avenues to produce leads for all of our clients. It's a lot more work, but we believe it's the right thing to do. And we believe that's why we keep our clients so much longer than everybody else.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What do you what who's your prospect? Can you tell me what that looks like, your prospect? Is it a certain size of company, certain number of employees,
Yeah,
industry?
as much as I wish I had a great succinct answer for you, what I've come to realize over the years is this: we don't pursue a certain vertical, we don't pursue a certain niche.
Okay.
The best definition that I can give you is this: we love working with growth minded entrepreneurs.
Love
That
it.
could be that could be a startup, that could be a not for profit,
Mhm.
right? As long as the person that we're working with, as long as the leader of that organization is entrepreneurial in spirit and they
Mhm.
are growth minded. In other words,
Mhm.
they want to challenge the status quo, they want to do things differently, and they're actively pursuing growth. That is who we love to work with.
That's fantastic. So, what's your financial model for people? Do they have, like, would you like to see them? You said, well, we want them to see results within 2 months. That's pretty quick. I've talked to other people say no, they have to sign up for at least 6 months.
Mhm.
And this is what it's going to cost. So, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, again,
Depends
there's
probably
no,
on the size of the
yeah,
company and what you're doing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, there's no huge lump sum money due up front. In other words, we
Hmm.
don't say, like, it's going to be $5,000 setup fee. You're going to
Hmm.
stick with us for
Which
2 months, and if you want
frequently
to
is
leave,
the
you can
answer that
leave.
most people give. Yeah. Right.
Yep. Ours is flat. So in other words, depending on the service, I'm just going to make this up. Let's just say it's $1,000 a month. We say, okay, it's $1,000 a month. Here's what we're going to do for that $1,000 a month. Here's what we're going to deliver. Here's what we're focused on.
Hmm.
And then we say, okay, 2 months in, you've now given us $2,000. At the end of that 2 months, are you happy with the results that we've produced for you at this point? Do you feel a difference? Do you see a difference? Not in vanity metrics, but in real metrics that matter for your business or your
Right.
organization.
Yeah, that's great. What impact would you say that you have had in your industry in the last, 13 years since you founded the company?
Yeah, I would say that, the impact I believe, or at least I hope that we've had is this, that when our clients come to us, they notice a difference.
Yeah.
They genuinely notice a difference, that it's not just about doing the things that we say we're going to do. In other words, post 3 times a week on social media or do 6 campaigns.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I really hope that others, and I know this to be true because we have a lot of our competitors who attend our events and study what we do and how we do it. Um,
Mhm. Well, you're doing something
that,
right.
yeah, that we actually prioritize the relationship with our clients. And it's not a superficial relationship.
Mhm.
So, what I mean by that is, it's very common for one of our team members to say, I'll give you an example. We've got a client who just had their mother pass away. She
Mm.
was she was elderly, but she just
Mhm.
passed away.
Mhm.
And so the team member that works with this person is going to the visitation for the funeral
Mhm.
tomorrow evening to go give their condolences to
Mhm.
their client.
Right.
We had someone else who just had a baby.
Yep.
So the person with that account put something together very meaningful to send to that client,
Mhm.
congratulating them on the new addition to their
Yep.
family. So
Yep.
it's really about human connection. I know
Yep.
you mentioned this earlier, but in business is really simple. It's we make it so complicated, right? If you just take care of people, if you just
Yes.
want what's best for them and you treat them like
Mhm.
human beings,
Yeah.
it's amazing what will happen to your business
Isn't
if
it?
we stop thinking so transactional,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Where's the next phone call? Where's
yeah.
the next person coming
Mhm.
from? If we stop thinking that way and we start treating people as human beings, it will transform our businesses.
Mhm. That's, I could not say that any better myself. So, Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.